Hello, hello. I am so excited about today's episode. We have the beautiful, wonderful Jamie King here with us for a chat. And I'm so excited to dive into this conversation. There's just so much freedom available in what we're going to talk about. And I just want to tell you a bit about Jamie, also known as the Slay Coach. Jamie is the top business educator and passive income coach, and she's worked with Fortune 50 companies and taught hundreds of 6 and 7 figure digital CEOs how to ethically make money in the online space. It's a very important conversation, and I'm sure we're going to get into that right now. Jamie just finished up a really incredible event called the Summit of Slay, which she is never doing again. And I know many of you cannot see her right now, but she's rocking some beautiful, incredible purple hair, which is her signature. And I love her brand so much. So you can go and follow her immediately at the Slay Coach on Instagram to
awesome
get better acquainted. Yeah. So how's it going?
It's going good. Excited to be like you're the first human I've spoken to since Summit.
Yeah.
Like I took a whole week off, and this is like yesterday was my first day back to work. So I took like 10 days to chill and
so
recuperate. And here we are. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so you're all about freedom, I'm guessing. Like you just bought
but I didn't used to be.
No, okay. But I saw you recently purchased like a big Winnebago for you and your fam.
Yeah, it's huge. We have a big RV now. I don't even know the brand. I think it's a Thor. But so for me, long story short, a little backstory. Beauty school dropout, had that label of, oh, well, you didn't go to college, so you're not going to be successful. That was attached to me, but I never assigned myself that label. I always knew that I would do something cool with my life. I've been, since I was 5 years old, I used to cry myself to sleep at night to my mom and say, I'm afraid of being ordinary. And so I knew that I wouldn't be ordinary, but I thought that it would look like maybe being a makeup artist in LA, maybe doing hair and makeup somewhere. And then I found out shortly after doing, going to school for cosmetology that it hurt physically. I have, my spine is fused. So 3/4 of my back is metal. And I learned that, I can't do this. And so at 16, gosh, Millie, I don't know. How old are you, Millie?
I am 31.
Oh yeah, you're not an infant. That makes me so excited. I always feel like the grandma in this industry, you guys. I just turned 35.
No.
I feel so old in this industry.
Really?
And my mentors are older than me, but I swear all the people that I mentor are babies. I have like so many clients, I guess because the way I dress and my hair, like I attract a younger demographic, but I'm really like just a kind of a lame mom who just wants to be with her kids all day and explore and paddleboard and be in nature and travel the world. And I just didn't know what that path would look like. I thought it would look like hair and makeup, and then got knocked up at 19, did the responsible thing, got the corporate job, and that's where I worked my way up and became a leader in corporate America. I managed call centers and did trainings and education for supervisors. I taught leadership development. I managed a very large, call center, 500 employees, 22 supervisors, 2 operations managers at the age of 24. And I had no degree. All my peers were, had, post-secondary education, and I did not. And I just was a hustler. I worked my way up the corporate ladder and became very successful in that world. And then I got married and had more babies with my husband and my daughters from a previous relationship. But I was tired of traveling and leaving my kids all the time. So I started online marketing, right? I did network marketing. I feel like not everyone, but a lot of people have like a start in some, like their gateway to the internet world is network marketing. And I started Beachbody coaching, and I realized, I made my way up to the top, 1% of the company, hosted events for corporate with Beachbody, with all the super trainers and celebrities. And so that's how I got into the events space, was by hosting events for Beachbody. And then I was like, y'all, I'm surprised I don't have wine here on my desk for those of you that are watching or that aren't watching. I'm a sweary mom. I'm a wine mom. I don't glorify drinking by any means, but like, I should be no one's fitness coach. I'm super into health and wellness. I'm actually getting an herbalist certification right now, which is super fun. Which ties into our tea company that we're launching. But I really just like to take care of my physical body, but I'm not a great like health coach for other people. So, cause like, I'm like, go drink some beer. I don't know. Like I don't know. I just never had a desire to have like a 6-pack. I want to be like in shape and take care of myself, but I just never been a fit. Like
I came through that route too. I was a personal trainer and a nutritionist as well. That's how I got into like the online world, like online fitness training and whatever. And I didn't want to talk about food and fitness all day. Like I wanted to talk about other things, and it just became kind of like, didn't want to do it. I get it.
It's so boring if it's not your thing,
Yeah, you have to be super passionate about it.
Yeah, and I just wasn't. And I had been an entrepreneur since I was 10 years old. I had been making crafts and jewelry and selling it and slinging them at school and selling them to my friends. Yes. My first business was a vintage resale business.
Bracelets. Yeah,
the bracelets. But my first real business as an adult was I sold, I don't know if you've seen the big trend of Gen Z and Gen Y with the vintage clothing. Like they're so into sustainability and they're so into vintage clothing. Well, I was always that. Like I started a business called Modern Mom Jeans 10 years ago.
Amazing.
To sell high-waisted shorts before they were cool. This is back when people were wearing low-rise. I was like, this is the future, guys. Yes. High-waist pants are coming back. I was right. So I've predicted a lot of these trends, and I started businesses and all these things that I saw as like the next up and coming thing. So I jumped into online, realized that fitness wasn't my thing. But everyone saw me as a leader, and everyone came to me for advice on business because I had made Beachbody work, quote unquote, even though financial, like it looked like it worked, but financially I wasn't getting compensated that well. And so I launched this business when my daughter, my youngest, had my third baby and she got diagnosed with infantile scoliosis and we couldn't pay our medical bills. I was like, we had a $12,000 unexpected. And I was like, I don't have this.
Yeah.
But we could have cashed out our 401ks or savings, but like we had like maybe 5-10K in savings. And then we were making good money. Like my husband was making 6 figures a year. So it's not like we were destitute, but like someone started a GoFundMe for us.
Yeah.
And that was that like, oh, ouch.
Right.
Like, I can't pay my own medical bills. This is not how I saw my future.
Yeah, for sure. So what was the first sort of iteration of you as an online coach?
It's always been the vision of, and a lot of creatives say this, Lady Gaga, Beyonce has one, like every famous pop icon, every creative has this alter ego that they create for themselves. And your alter ego is something you can step into to be brave, to do something scary, to be outside of yourself, to act, to pretend, really, to like put on a show when you don't feel safe doing scary things as you. And so when I started this business, I didn't feel like people would take me seriously, but I thought they would take the Slay Coach seriously. So it felt like Clark Kent and Batman. Is that his name? Clark Kent?
Superman.
Yeah. Superman.
Yeah.
Superman and Clark Kent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruce.
I don't know.
Bruce Banner or no?
I don't know who Batman is, but
I'm not a comic person clearly, but Batman and that Bruce Wayne. Yeah, that's it.
There
Bruce Wayne. Bruce Banner, I think, is the Hulk. But like, I felt like I was okay, if I'm going to do this scary thing, because I had my first discovery call with a coach I wanted to hire before I launched this business, because I had this vision of these events and this networking series. And she's like, well, you're not qualified. You can't be a business expert. You aren't making 6 figures a year yet in business. And I was like,
Mhm.
ugh. Oh, I was like, but she didn't ask pre-qualifying questions about my corporate business experience.
Right.
Like, I had been in the business sector managing businesses since I was 19 years old. I
Mhm.
was manager at a restaurant. I
Mhm.
was head of customer service at at a Fortune 50 company. I then did learning and education development and leadership development. And I'd been public speaking since I was 21 in the restaurant industry and then 24 in the corporate world. And so like I had a huge professional background that was
Yeah.
different than my network marketing. And she was just looking at how much I was making in my network marketing business and just
Right.
check, you don't qualify. And I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, that's disheartening too, right? Because I think even just as women in general, we don't give ourselves credit for the experience that we have, that we bring to the table, especially just like as moms, right? Like moms wear so many hats. We bring so much to the table. We have so many skills that we discount all the time. So it's like we got to give ourselves a little bit more credit. And then to have somebody come in and be like, you're not qualified, like that's,
Like,
come
come
on.
on, man. And like, especially women lifting up other women.
Yeah.
Now, she literally just said, no, you can't do that. You're not qualified. I would feel out of integrity to coach you in that area. You could be a life coach or a mindset coach. And I was like, that's not me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good with all of those things. I'm a great coach, but like, that's not my area of expertise. And so, so that was kind of like the big chip on my shoulder I needed, really, like, fuck you, watch me. And her and I are
Yeah.
great now. I
Yeah.
really respect this woman. I don't want to tell that story from a place of like, fuck her.
No.
It's, I love her. She's a great person. What I didn't understand is that she had been on 5 discovery calls that week from Beachbody coaches who wanted to do that.
Okay.
And so she was like, I'm tired of Beachbody coaches saying they want to become business coaches when they're not qualified. So like, I didn't know that she had like
Right.
had multiple people before me, but like, it's still, I was like,
It
all
was
right,
it
let's
was
do
the
this.
spark for you. It was like
Yeah.
the little fire under your
Yeah.
butt.
I need to be
Okay.
told no.
Yeah. So I mean, I know your story because I've been following you for some time, but there was then this whole thing where you went into the online business and you went into like serious hustle mode, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had to. I had my daughter who wouldn't take a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was exclusively breastfed, would not take anything but me, wouldn't eat solid food
Been
yet.
there, done that.
What an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm trying to launch this business because bitch's spine's all crooked and now I need to pay for these medical bills. And and so I was getting up at, I don't know, and I'm not a morning person. So not a morning person. The reason why I always wanted to like work for myself is so I didn't have to set an alarm. So I was getting up at 6 a.m., working till 8 or 9 a.m., and then being with her during the day. And then on nap time, I would get something in. And then when she went to bed, I would work at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just creating from this focused place of excitement and determination of like, fuck you, watch me.
Yeah.
And if this thing doesn't work, then I'm going to make another thing that's going to work. And then if that thing doesn't work, then I'm going to make another thing that's going to work.
You
And
decided.
yeah. And I know that's so corny. I just decided it was going to work. Like, no, I messed up a lot. I had webinars where no one showed up. Back when webinars were like the big thing,
Right.
and I, like did it messy. My branding looked awful. I didn't have a website when I had my first 10K month, and I
Mm-hmm.
did have a built-in network. I had about 2,000 followers at the time. And I had like like 2 or 3,000 Facebook friends. So I
Mm-hmm.
had like two on each ish, I'm
Yeah.
sure there was some cross pollination there, but I didn't have a huge following, but I had a following. I had something to get started with. People knew me as something,
Yeah.
So I had a warm audience. And when I pivoted, they all kind of like really took to it. They're like, this is so exciting. This is very you. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
surprised. And I colored my hair purple. I pivoted very hard, meaning I went from blonde, bubbly fitness coach to bam, here's the slay coach.
Yeah.
I wanted to be very clear that I was no longer available for all the things that I was doing previously. So
I love that.
total hard pivot, rebrand. Don't come to me for fitness. This is what I'm doing now. And hit 10K months immediately. And we made, 6 figures in 6 months and multiple 6 figures our first year, and then 7 the next. And it just kept going.
And then you got to a point where you were like
2020. Yeah. 2020 is how we got to burnout. I would say it happened after Summit of Slay 2019. It started to happen because after that, I mean, everything just really blew up that year. That was the 7-figure year in 2019. And that was I was in Bali that year. I was in Spain. Hosting VIP days in LA and Miami and Vegas. And I was literally hosting all these events all over, mostly the United States, but traveling all over the world. When I never even stopped to think about it. I thought that's just what I had to do to become a big name very quickly in this industry. And it did. It worked. Like I blew up what people say overnight. Like it happened very quickly for me, but 10 out of 10 do not recommend it.
Right.
Like 10 out of 10 do not glorify the people that are making fast money. Fast money isn't sustainable for most people.
Right.
Now, if you are young, if you are single, if you don't have attachments, if you're a digital nomad, sure. And look what happened to Rachel Hollis too. Like say what you want about her. Like she blew up really quickly. And I don't think did the learning or growth emotionally to maybe like hold or sustain that energy. Like it just wasn't sustainable. And then when Summit of Slay happened, it was this like huge up level, interviews, magazine articles, just more being demanded of me all the time. And I had created another 9-to-5 job for myself where I was always gone, where I was always working, and I was on calls 3 days a week, for multiple hours a day. Some days I would have 6 calls, 8 calls a day. And I was like selling these high ticket, making ridiculous money without having any time. I was exchanging too much time and I didn't even realize it because I was just like on this money high, like the sugar rush, like the followers and the ego and the like influence and the, PR and all the other things. And it was just like when COVID hit, I had a brief panic attack. Okay. It was probably a little longer than brief. I freaked out. I was like, what are we going to do? We have to get out of here. When things were looking like they were in a lockdown, I was like, we have to get out of here. I cannot be stuck in this house with my children and run a 7-figure company. It was like, I won't have childcare. What will I do? And so I called my mom. I was like, pack your things. We're going to Florida. I'm renting a vacation home. And we went to Florida because I knew they were still open. And then they closed as soon as we got there.
Oh man.
Which, I mean, it was like fine. We had a house that was like 5 bedrooms, multiple floors, and out, private pool. And I was just like, I can get away from the kids. I can distance myself. But in my urban home that we were in at the time, it was like a beautiful Victorian, I thought it was my dream house, but it was like this, 2-story, you can hear everything. And I didn't plan on working from home with my kids there because they were in childcare and school.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, well, fuck, how do I do this? I had to stop taking on all my clients. Like thankfully when everything shut down, my mastermind was wrapping up, my last mastermind. So my clients, I didn't extend anybody. I had to stop taking clients. I had to stop taking private clients. And along with that, there went 60% of our income, of our revenue. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Now what?
Going from 6-figure months to 40K months or 50K months was like, what the fuck? Now, what does this mean about me? And then it was like, oh God, I have overhead. I have 20 people I need to support, like team members that I need to pay. I have this big team, but I'm not taking this big revenue. So that's when I knew that like this wasn't sustainable. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm building a business based on what other people all my mentors how they had built their businesses. None of my mentors were ever parents.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
I never had a single parent that was a mentor of mine. They were living the Chanel bag lifestyle and traveling the world. And I was just like, why am I learning from people who don't have the life that I actually want? What do I actually fucking want?
Yeah,
That's
that's
when it
such,
hit me.
oh yeah, such a fundamental question.
Yeah, like what do you actually fucking want? Like not what you think you have to want in order to make it. Like what do you actually want? And then once I pivoted and shifted my value statement and my priorities, and there was a ouch emotionally. There was
Yeah.
an ego, like when
Yeah.
your revenue dips by 50-60%, like over the course of a couple months, and then it stays that way for a few months, you're like, oh God, will I ever be able to figure out this passive income thing? Will I ever be able to figure out these funnels? Will I ever be able to get back, quote unquote? But I don't know, like, what was I trying to get back to? Like, and so that's when we pivoted our entire business model. We started focusing on one signature product, really perfecting that, making it really, really good, getting students really great results. And then cranking that out twice a year, and then having one signature product that's in a funnel. And then we have a mastermind. And so we simplified everything. I went from having like 16 products to like 3. And yeah, the rest is history. So
Yes. And so now you teach people about building passive income, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, we have an Amazon store now too.
Yes.
So
Interesting.
fun.
Okay. So let's talk about this passive income thing. So like, okay, let's just start from the very beginning. What's your definition of passive income?
Anything that you are not actively exchanging time for money with. So people like to glorify or like glamorize passive income. Passive income isn't totally passive ever. There's never a time where there's going to be no energetic exchange in exchange for something.
Yeah.
If it is, it won't last very quickly. There's always a check and balance in the universe, and energetically with money, there's always going to be an exchange of value. But it's about learning how to leverage. So if we think of a pulley, like you're trying to like remember wells when people would get their water from a well? Like if you were to dip a bucket in and pull it up one by one by one, hand over hand, pull the rope up, and it's heavy. This is a 3-gallon bucket. Like it would be very heavy. It would be hard to pull it. But if you had a pulley system to crank it and pull it up, you'd be able to pull it much easier and much faster.
Right.
And so understanding how to create what I call like frequency in your funnels, frequency funnels, energetic funnels, a product suite that acts like a funnel, and then going into digital advertising and paid advertising later. Cause I did everything that I did initially was all organic. And I recommend everyone start that way. But I feel like there was such in the spiritual community, this like, if you were using paid advertising, then you couldn't brag that everything was organic. And I'm like, this isn't fucking like kale.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if your funnel's non-GMO or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care how people got there. I care that you got them results. And I care that you attracted the right people and you sold them with integrity on a product that was the right fit for them. And so, so when you think of passive income, it's learning how to stack your revenue with products that don't exchange time for money. And so when you have a digital product suite, like my mastermind, I don't do my high level one-to-one mastermind anymore. I have a lower level mastermind because I found that for the energetic exchange, it gets the best results and it's the most highly reviewed. People love it. And I don't have to get on the phone all the time with these people. And it's like a win-win. Like they win, they pay less, they get a better value. I don't have to be on the phone. So if we can find the win-win-win in your product, creating your signature product that is going to get them results and have less time required by you with payments that extend over time. That is how you create passive income, whether that be organically or through a funnel. So we have extended payment plans. We have payment plans that go for a year because I want to create like accessibility for people of all different price brackets in the industry or coming into the industry. And it also creates freedom for my family, because if I launch 3 times a year, I never not have payments coming in. I'm always getting paid every single day.
Yeah, that's like the ideal, right? And this allows you to do things like take off in your RV.
Yeah, I mean, like I just took 10 days straight off, like after Summit of Slay. Like it wasn't planned. I thought I was going to jump back into work after a couple of days off, and I just needed more time. And yeah, like the blessing to be able to do that. Like, and then this week we've decided like we're just going to pack up early on Thursday after I have a Facebook Live scheduled in one of my programs. And then after that, we're packing up Thursday and hitting the road and going to go on an RV trip. But like you are my only, I think I have one client call this week. This is the only time I'm on the phone this week.
Yeah. And so you've consciously crafted this life for yourself. You have decided, you know who you are, you know what you want, and you took the action steps to move towards it, to create it, right? Like manifesting.
I was with my kids all morning. I've posted on social media once in the past, I don't know, 10 days because I took off for Summit. But
do you have a team still?
Yeah, we have a full-time marketing director. We have a full-time customer liaison or client experience manager, but she's also a co-coach in our programs. So she's a junior coach that's on full-time. My husband's on full-time. So we have 3 full-time employees, which is still a lot of pressure, like financially, like energetically, I'm supporting the livelihoods of, not just myself, but these beautiful people on our team that support the mission and know what we want to create and do together. And then we have a copywriter, we have, just contract staff, we have podcast team, we have social media help. Gosh, who else? I'm going to forget it. I don't manage the team anymore, which is great. My husband does all of that, but like, yeah, we have a ton of co-coaches as well that are like temporary part-time that come in and coach in our programs. And they're all previous clients and students who I've trained.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we have a pretty big team, but now it's leaner, more intentional, not just like when I was making like 300K months, I was just throwing money at everything. I wasn't even that profitable. Like, I mean, I was profitable. I made money and I kept it, but I wasn't as profitable as I wanted to be because I was just spending money to grow.
Right.
Just throwing money at everything. Well, I'll just join this mastermind and hire this coach and do this PR thing and do this Instagram thing and just like not necessary.
Yeah. So that's my next question then, is like, for somebody who wants to come into this world to create like a product suite of more passive products, or like a very more tailored, business, or lean as you called it. And they're not coming in from like a ton of one-to-one, like there's people who come in through this way. Like a lot of people come in service-based business. They come in through this way of like, they've done a ton of one-to-one and then they burn out and then they switch. Right. Yeah. I feel like I hear that story, but what about if somebody wants to just craft that from the beginning? What is your best advice there? Because I feel like when you start with the one-to-one, it does give you some momentum in your business, right? Like it does give you some like credibility and confidence and things like that. But for those that just want to go right for it.
This is actually my favorite question probably anyone's ever asked me, because there's this common misconception that you have to start with one-to-one in order to build your niche or build your brand out. And I just don't fucking buy into that. I don't believe that's true. And I don't agree. So it's actually what we stand against. And what we teach in Slay School is how to build what I don't like saying the right or the wrong way. There is no wrong way, but how to build an energetically protective way that sets you up for success long term without the burnout. And so what people do, and what I see people making the big mistake is they go in and they take all these one-to-ones on while trying to develop their program because they need to make money, because they
Right.
don't have a job.
Right.
Why not build your side hustle, build your program out, take some beta testers, perfect it, tweak it, make it better while working for your angel investor, your 9 to 5, or interning, or being a virtual assistant for another entrepreneur, or whatever like your thing is. Why burn yourself out on the energy that it takes to expend to go market, create content, attract new clients, sign the clients, keep the clients, then try and build your signature program out?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not, I mean, that's how everyone does it, but it's not the only fucking way. Like if you can just for 2 fucking seconds focus your tits and seriously think about the problem that you want to solve and the niche of which you want to serve. Yes, you're going to change niches. Yes, you're going to get bored and tired with the first thing that you thought was going to be your thing. Do not worry about that. Just focus on creating something that is going to be energetically sustainable, whether that be a group program, a agency, a course, something that is scalable, because one-to-one is not scalable. So why would we take all of our energy focused on building this one-to-one business? Now, if your goals are just to create, I don't want to say just to, I don't want to minimize that because that's a brilliant goal. But if your goal is to be a really great service provider and a one-to-one service provider and make 6 figures a year, just exchanging time for money and working 3 or 4 days a week on calls, if that is your jam, fucking go for that, dude. But if you already know yourself, and if you know that you're not going to be able to sustain being on the phone or in person or wherever you do your services with people 4 days a week, 6 to 8 hours a day in order to make 6 figures, then why wouldn't you start in a way that's going to protect your energy by creating a product from a problem that you have either solved for yourself or solved for friends, family, clients in the past?
Yeah, exactly. I love that you call the 9 to 5 job an angel investor. That's such a great reframe, right? Like,
it is. Like, people in the entrepreneurial world, quit your job, go all in, go all in. I'm like, okay, that is not that is not trauma informed for people with money trauma. Like, you can't just tell someone who has come from poverty or someone who has debt or someone who has children, well, just quit your job. The safety net will build itself. They don't feel that in their soul. I'm not saying that it won't. A lot of us, we figure it out. But like, do you really want to figure it out from a fight or flight place?
Yeah, it puts you into that total panic mode, and then your energy is definitely all messed up. Like, really, you don't want to be feeling that like tense, like constriction inside of you, like, I have to. It has to be like, if you want to be in joy and like and pleasure when you're creating, to have a safety net that is there is, is a really great way to support yourself.
And the amount of adrenal fatigue that I see in this industry from people in their highs and lows is absolutely through the charts. 90% of the people that you look up to on the internet are burnout, and they will never tell you.
Yeah. That's so good to hear. Like, it's not good to hear. It's terrible. Like, I feel bad to know that, right? But it's a good reminder to anybody listening. Like, there is so much. Like, I remember during the pandemic following you, when you came out and you shared your whole story about how you had burnt out and how like it didn't, it wasn't really how it all looked. And you're really honest about things, which is why I really enjoy following you. And it was just like, wow, like that is probably going on with so many more people that like that is social media, guys, right? Like, it's the highlight reel, and people, it's not that they're purposely withholding, it's they feel like they can't share this because they don't want to let their audience down. They don't want to let their clients down. They want to make you feel like it's possible for you to have too. And so there's denial. There's like a level of denial inside yourself, right? So just know that, like, remember that those people are struggling in their own way too.
And I have mentored them all. I have been in the rooms with every major person that you look up to in this industry. I've either worked with them, been a peer or a friend with them. And I can tell you that there is a very, very small percentage of them. And I now identify in that category, thank God, but I was not. I was saying all the right things on social media that I thought I was supposed to say. And at the time, I wasn't lying to my audience. I was lying to myself. I was telling myself that I wasn't burned out. I was telling myself. So don't look at these people and think, oh, they're lying to their people or they're lying to their followers. They're lying to themselves first.
Yeah, that's the piece, right? It's the denial. It's the I can't admit this to myself because that means then that will mean XYZ about who I am.
There are people I know making $1 million a month, but they are on the phone 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. Like,
I've heard these stories too.
but they are literally telling their audience and themselves, I'm in flow. And they very well might be.
If that's your jam, you know,
it might be.
I know I just had to put my blue blocker glasses on halfway through this interview because I don't like looking at the screen for long periods of time.
Right? Like, it's just, and I didn't see anyone that looked like me. I didn't see any moms. I didn't see anybody that really identified as a lazy person. Like, I identify as a hyper-focused ADD. I get a lot done in a very short period of time, and then I want to rest for like 2 weeks. But like, I didn't see anybody that operated like I did. And I don't know, I hope to be that example for women out there.
Yeah, that's the true empowerment right there, is to just be like in your beautiful messiness as a human, and allow other people to see that that's possible, you know, too. What's your human design? Do you know?
I am a 4-6 sacral generator.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm a 3-5 emotional generator.
Emotional.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. This conversation has been fabulous.
Oh, it's been so fun. I just hit my drink on the microphone, but
all good. It's all good. We'll probably be able to remove that from the final cut. Okay, so my final question for you and for every guest that I have on the Milli Fox Show is, what are you currently manifesting?
I am manifesting my manifestation list. I know that sounds weird, but I was actually just thinking I was journaling on this today. What do you do when you've got everything you've ever wanted?
Right? Yeah.
And I find this has happened to me multiple times because I am such a powerful manifester and I manifest very quickly. And then what happens when I get everything I've ever wanted? I have to figure out, well, now what? Now what? And honestly, I'm at this place in my life where I want to give other people permission to not want. To not want more, to not desire more. Like, what do I need? I'm getting a purple Jeep. So I guess I'm manifesting that because I'm trying to find the right Jeep, because we're like car hunting.
Like the right purple, guess. The right purple.
They stopped making purple Jeeps in 2018. So I have to get a used one.
No. Why don't you just get one wrapped? Like,
I could get one wrapped too.
I saw a purple metallic Land Rover wrapped. I love that. It was incredible. I'll DM you where I saw it from.
Yes,
it's on
please.
Instagram, and I know exactly where to find it.
And that's so funny you mentioned that. I almost got a G-Wagon before I got the car that I have now, but then I remembered that I have 3 kids, and if they destroyed the back of my G-Wagon with chips and Cokes and fingerprints, that I would just be like pissed. So Jeep, until mom life is over, Jeep it is. And
Jeep almost looks like a G-Wagon.
I'm just such a, I'm the most glam, bougie outdoors girl. Like, I'm a tomboy. Like, I love to be in nature. I'm an athlete growing up. And yeah, so like my final, I guess, send off for you guys is really focus on what your manifestations are and what your desires are. And that takes intense self-awareness and intense clarity that
Mhm.
most of us do not have, especially if you're under 30. I feel like 30s is like this magical decade where you
Totally.
finally give yourself permission to desire and not desire. Cause I thought I wanted the house in Beverly Hills. I thought I wanted the house in Malibu. I thought I wanted the G-Wagon. And it's not that I don't like really fancy bougie things. My house is very bougie. Like I live in the bougiest neighborhood in my state and it's, very fun. And I have a slide in my basement and a movie theater in my basement. Like I have a very bougie existence. But for me, I wanted more time. I had
Mhm.
to look at my kids were getting older.
Mhm.
How old are yours, Millie?
4.5 and 15 months.
Okay. So yeah, like I feel like once you hit that 4.5 mark, like my daughter is 4.5 now. And when she hit 4 earlier this year, I was just like, oh my God, this is my last baby.
Mhm.
And she's already 4 because I was 30 when I had her.
Mhm.
And I'm like, where did this life go? I also have the blessing, had a teenager. I have a teenager. I was 20 when I had her. So she's almost 15 now. And I'm like, whoa, that went by fucking quick. Like I'm almost done there. I'm going to miss it. And
Mhm.
so I had created a lot of financial success very fucking quickly, but I hadn't created happiness and I had started to break down my family dynamic. I wasn't being a good present mother, and not to define what is good or bad. You can still be career driven. I'm still career focused, but I wanted the focus not just to be on income, but on profits, not just revenue, but profits, investments, and time. How much
Mhm.
time can I get back? We just recently, as a company, cut back to a 3-day work week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
that's the goal. I'm manifesting more time and a purple Jeep right now.
I love it. I love it. I'm in the exact same boat as you. I just cut down to 2 days a week of calls, and then everything else kind of gets fit in because we just came to Florida, no childcare right now. So
Right? I feel
we're
that.
fitting it in. We're
I
fitting it
feel
in.
that.
My husband is solo parenting for 2 days a week, which is going to be the first time for him.
If he needs an emotional support buddy, he can find my husband.
Yeah. So we're making it work, but it's because this is the life we desire. Like we want to be able to pick up and go and do the things and
Yeah.
whatever that is. So if that means like we're taking turns and I only do 2 days a week, then that's what it is. And I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's amazing. So where can people come and like get to know you better? Instagram at the Slate Coach. Is there anywhere else that host
Yes.
things that
Slady
people should know
Boss
about?
Radio. So Slady Boss Radio goes along with my energy. We'll have like 5 podcast episodes drop all at once, and then we'll go, 3 or 4 weeks without an episode. But Slady Boss Radio, also we will not be having Summit of Slay, but we are considering doing like kind of a next year, like mini tour of small events
Mhm.
with the RV, like just taking the kids and just like hopping from city to city where we have
Oh,
followers
fun.
and doing like either podcast interviews or a show or a networking event. So that's going to be in the works later, but just on Instagram mostly. We are setting up a TikTok now, but I'm hiring a Gen Z person to run that because I don't know what I'm doing.
Amazing. Amazing. I can't wait to witness that. All right. Well, thank you again so much for being here, Jamie. It's been such a pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours, have been for quite some time now. So
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you for having me.
Yes, absolutely.